Welcome to Anarchy Roundtable. My name is Joe.
I'm Mike.
Shane.
Christopher Caldwell.
I don't know. His name is Danny.
Fair enough. These are token Hispanic. Affirmative action. Yes.
All right, yeah. But that's exactly how Danny got on the show.
And that's how I got on Shane's show, too. So, Shane, I understand you have a show?
Yes, I do. I run Liberty Under Attack Radio. The website is libertyunderattack.com. We don't talk about the news cycle or politics. We pretty much focus on direct action, ways to find freedom in our lives right now, rather than begging those who falsely imagine themselves to be our rulers.
So how about them Tigers?
Them Tigers.
And if you can't get enough of Danny, he's on that show.
Yeah, he is. He's definitely a co-host, has been for probably a year now.
Yeah.
Been a while.
Yeah, that's right.
So Shane, we were talking before the show, and you told me that you have a path to anarchy that I have never heard from anyone else before, and I would like you to share this path to anarchy with our astute audience.
No.
No, don't tell me what to do.
Yeah, so probably about 3 years ago I started the website. It wasn't anything like it is now. It was essentially just somewhere where I'd go and post an article and I don't know, like I'd get like 30 views a month, so it wasn't something I was really serious about. But at that time I focused on conspiracies. I was a conspiracy theorist for quite a while. And obviously I do think there are true conspiracies, but I think it's mostly a waste of time. I went through the conspiracism, and then I found minarchism. So, your constitutionally limited government. Yeah, that was me. That was me for probably a year and a half. And just started with just reading the Constitution and all that fun stuff. And then I found a group on fascist book. Oh boy, this seems to segue nicely with Randy's discussion in the last Anarchy Roundtable. But I was a sovereign citizen for about 6 months. I quickly became one of the top people in the group, and what they were kind of promoting was defunding the government through the courts. So what you did was you went, like if you got any ticket at all, you'd go up in front of the judge, and you'd say these like magic 5 sentences, like the flesh and blood man, like the typical stuff. And there's some other aspects of that too. Corporate United States, which is it's a part of patriot mythology. Yeah, I know that now, but one thing I did notice when I was in that group is they don't really know how to read.
And one thing, we just did an episode of Anarchy Roundtable with Randy, who is, Randy England, the anarchist lawyer, who told us that the sovereign citizen stuff doesn't work in front of anyone but the most greenest of judges.
That is true, yeah. And he mentioned something before about filing liens. I was trying to pull up the actual court case. I've read about it a couple of times. But the internet's not great here. The filing of the lien is the crime. And this was a court decision that came out in the 90s, I think it was. I think it was with Larry Myers' case. Maybe not, but anyways, there's a court case which specifically, like, if you do that, you're getting tossed in prison. But unfortunately, they don't know how to read, and they tend to find themselves in some peculiar situations.
Do you have any first-hand stories that you saw where it did not work?
Thankfully, no. Because I might not be here. But I was trying to learn and understand that sort of thing. Then I realized that most of the people in that group were pretty incompetent. They were coming to me at 24 years. Actually, at the time I was 23 or 22, and I was the one that had the most information. I didn't know anything, so I saw kind of an issue with that. So I left the group and started this show about 3 months later. So.
And so your path from being a sovereign citizen to an anarchist, I'm not sure quite.
Oh yeah, okay. So I started the show. When I started the show, I was a constitutionalist. That was February of last year. It only took a couple of months talking to fellow anarchists. Typically they say it takes 6 months or 20 or what is it, a weekend on YouTube or something. Yeah, it took me a couple of months. I guess the issue that I had was that I didn't trust people. I just thought, well, without government, like you can't trust anybody. But obviously, I've overcome that concern. But yeah, I've only been an anarchist for about, a year and a few months or somewhere thereabouts.
You were just recently an anarchist last Liberty Fest.
True. Yes. Yeah. That was probably 4 months after I decided to assume the title.
Yeah, I seem to remember you talking about being a constitutionalist recently. Prior to that.
Did you learn a lot at the last Liberty Fest?
Did I learn a lot?
Because there's so many of us here, and when you come to an event like this, the rich conversation, like this fest is essentially an Anarchy Roundtable that continues for 3.5 days.
I party a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's definitely true. Yeah, I agree.
Well, Anarchy Roundtable includes partying.
Yeah, I definitely learned a lot last year. I was definitely more presentation heavy last year. I think I went to most every one of them. This year I decided to relax a little bit more since I had more on the plate. But yeah, last year I learned a ton. I really enjoyed. I think it was Johnman's presentation on. I think he did one on permaculture last year. He had one this year too.
He did one this year, but it was a different take.
Yeah, but that one was fascinating, and it gave me a lot of ideas. I'm planning on homesteading property in Southern Illinois when I graduate from higher level indoctrination. So seeing that, I mean, with the property that I'm going to purchase down there, it's really conducive to that.
Did you graduate from what?
Higher level indoctrination. Most people call it college, but that's just my term.
Government-run educational system.
Yeah, and I go to public schools or public. It's still public schools.
So you're going to college?
Yes.
What are you going to be when you grow up?
Nothing that I'm not going to do anything that has to do with my degree. It was just something I have to do. But
why do you have to do it?
Well, I guess to leave out some details. My father's opening a distillery down in Southern Illinois, and one of the stipulations for me working there is to get a degree in whatever. So I'm doing journalism, and I'll have some public relations experience. So that's what I'll handle there, as well as making some liquor. So.
All right,
Noble profession.
Cheers
to that.
Cheers.
Yeah, to liquor.
To liquor.
For sure. So yeah, that's why I guess that's why I'm going. If I had a choice, I'd probably just go into some trade like electrician or plumber or something like that. But I'm here now, so.
So let me ask, what gave you the inspiration to do the show to begin with? Like what, I don't know. Well, Liberty Under Attack, but what got you going into that?
Yeah, so, and then this kind of goes back to my conspiratorial days. I don't know how many people are familiar with him, but a guy by the name of Bill Cooper, he had a radio show back in the 90s. He started a show the year I was born, so he's kind of an older gentleman. But I loved his show for the longest time. And I binge listened to it for so long, and I couldn't find any other radio shows like his, and mine's not like that now either. But that was the initial inspiration, was to like actually be a beacon of truth for all the conspiracists and the constitutionalists. So obviously that's not the case, but that was the original motivation to start a show, was to kind of emulate Bill Cooper. But yeah, I definitely didn't do that.
I think it is the case, because you are a beacon of truth to those people.
You don't want to emulate him.
Yeah. He did have. Someone in the audience said that you don't want to be like him because it was how he died. Yeah, he did. He did engage in a shootout with police officers, and it led to his detriment.
Yeah, a shootout with the cops, probably not a good idea at this point.
Yeah. He did have a gun. It was inside. He was running back into his house, and it was to get a gun. Yes. But yeah, I used to talk to a guy a lot named Ralph Epperson. He was on Bill's show back in like 93 or 94, and that was the most, I guess, accurate account of his death that I've been able to get. So yeah, what else?
No, I do have. At the front of our last episode, this one here, you have brought a flag that we've been displaying. It's not an anarchy flag. And we've got this on the front of our table. It says bitcop.org, no government license, and there's a QR code on it. Mm-hmm. What can you tell us about this flag? Why are we displaying this on our Anarchy Roundtable for the last 2 episodes?
Yeah, definitely. So, I guess it's obviously an ANCAP colors. I had a few choices, but obviously I figured the ANCAP one would be best. But yeah, it's a BIPCOT no government license. It was started by a gentleman named Michael Dean or Michael Dean on Facebook.
Michael Dean.
Yeah, he hates me online.
Dean or Bean, however, because he's a freedom Bean, so he goes by both.
Yeah, that's just his.
No, I messaged him. He did not like himself, Michael Dean.
No, he hates me.
You just like to say that.
No, he does hate me.
No, let's just forget that.
Okay, alright.
Everybody.
Oh, it's juicy.
But anyways, yeah. So it's a BIPCOT no government license.
People I know.
Not you, Danny. I know you're
I
not.
was like, I'm not Danny, but she's somewhere.
She's somewhere.
I saw her.
Aren't you, Danny?
There are
I know,
certain
two Marys. I'm the.
There's 3 or 4 Danny's.
I met two Danny's with an eye. That's not really great.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
Okay, whatever.
Gotcha. Yep. So essentially, and this is what I read every week for the shows. Living Integrity is covered by a BIPCOT no government license. It means that reuse and modification is available to anybody. It's fine for anybody except for governments or their agents. So you can. You can do whatever you want with my show as long as you're not a government agent. I don't think there's any here. I wouldn't really be surprised if there was one or two lurking in the shadows.
I'm looking at you, Dave. Pretty sure it's you.
You don't drink. That's the first.
Yeah, that's the first sign that something's wrong.
That's cool. Dave's our friend.
Apparently doesn't drink.
He's taking notes.
Yeah,
He
but
does
he's
use it
yeah.
past
I think he's wearing a wire. What's that band on your wrist there?
I actually have a non-Shane topic, actual topic for the show. And
Wow,
we
that was dismissive.
were talking about Shane all this time. Now we're gonna ask Shane to talk about anarchy and freedom. So this is gonna be good. So we had a football player, and we have an audience member who remembers his name and what team he plays for. This is Adam. He's going to come up and tell us the football player's name and the team.
Right, so that's Colin Kaepernick, and that's San Francisco 49ers. And just a little bit of context, lately he is a bit underperforming and injured, so if he becomes unemployed, I can see social justice warriors and whatnot using that as bait, per se, you know. Like, he was fired because of his opinion. I just want to make that clear. He is not doing that well.
I'm glad you brought that part up. I wasn't aware of that.
What was his opinion?
So what he did is he did not stand for the national anthem for one of his games, and
I've done that.
yeah, but he is a football. He's an NFL football player.
I'm just.
It's a very yeah.
Go on.
And it's a very prominent thing that was picked up by the media. There's lots of articles about it. You can look it up. And when I read the article, the team actually supported his not supported, defended his right to not stand up during the national anthem. And I think that the team deserves some kudos for that, even though I have zero interest in football whatsoever. I talked to James, who's a frequent guest on the show, and he said that he is his favorite football player, and that is his favorite football team now, and he is also not a football fan. But he's talking about buying jerseys to wear around just because he's proud of this guy who didn't stand up for the national anthem. And I don't know, I think it's interesting that the team is kind of on. If you go, let me back up a minute. If you go into comment world, where there are articles about this posted on the internet, and they have comments, and the comments are filled full of people who are faggots and those kind of people, and they're really upset that he didn't stand up. People are offended by the whole idea that somebody might not stand for the sacred song.
Yeah, the people that get offended when, the people that get offended when, we're talking about conservatives here, probably mostly, but they're the ones that get mad at the SJWs for always being offended about everything. But they're so touchy when it comes to my flag.
I didn't even think of that.
I'm personally offended
Yeah, I
that
never really gave my-
I'm personally offended that children in school are are not doing the proper salute like they used to do pre-1940. The Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United fucking That's what they had to do pre-1940.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The Bellamy Salute.
Yeah, the socialist that she was. Yeah, and actually, I post that picture a lot. I've actually got that picture. It's like one always in my arsenal for certain situations. Yeah, it's the children doing the Hail Hitler thing. Yeah.
American children.
American children. That's
It's required by law.
Yeah, but on that what you kind of mentioned from what I understand, it was in regards to some police killing of a black person or something like that. Now I think the action itself is good, but I think the motivation for it is not something that's ideal. Now if he was doing it because he realized that like this is a socialist pledge and I'm for the free market. So yeah, I don't like that, but for it being something relating to something that could be picked up by like Black Lives Matter or something, I don't think it's necessary. I think the action is good itself, but I don't like the motivation personally.
I think if we talk to people like that, and I think you can kind of like use that as a segue into freedom and
Oh yeah, that's true, and I think there is a possibility for reaching out to those like within the, I don't like them, but like reaching out to some of those in the Black Lives Matter community they don't like police officers discriminating. I think there's a chance to bring up the aspect of private policing, like the Threat Management Center in Detroit. I think that gives a really good opening. Now it might not be something I would do myself because, like I said, I don't like these people, but for those who want to take that journey, that is definitely a possible opening.
Shane mentioned the Threat Management Center of Detroit, and I just want to let everyone know that we had 3 episodes dedicated to the Threat Management Center, and we had
Dale Brown.
We had Dale Brown on the show for 3 episodes in a row because Dale.
No, it's because of Mike.
Mike
It's
and
Mike's
Dale.
fault.
It was a combination of Mike and Dale. Dale is very long-winded, but he has very interesting things to say. So he can talk for 3 hours and hold your attention about what it is that he does in his daily life, and it is to keep people safe and to manage threats, which he differentiates from policing, which is to impose the will of the state upon people. I don't think he words it quite that way, but that is really what he's getting at. And he was on the show. We have a playlist on our YouTube channel with all 3 of those episodes, or you can visit freedomtalkmedia.com and find his.
So Joe, I think
An interesting side note on that.
Hi.
As I talk like I'm trying to finish up on that topic, but go ahead.
I just wanted to add to that.
Come on up.
Anyway, well, she's coming up. No, an interesting side note on that is I was riding my bicycle
No one
in
cares,
Detroit.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
we did.
we're talking about Black Lives Matter, just to add to it, now there is a Black Breastfeeding Week. So, a Black Breastfeeding Week. So,
Black
about a month
breastfeeding.
ago, it was World International Breastfeeding Week, support breastfeeding, which definitely, we all know, like, that's the way that it should go.
Yeah.
Screw
Wow.
formula companies and all, I'm a big advocate myself, been breastfeeding for 11 months straight. But now there is a Black Breastfeeding
Do you
Week.
think there should be a white breastfeeding?
No.
Exactly!
That's the thing I don't understand.
Sounds like a double standard.
Exactly, that's
Repeat
the
this
Black
question.
Lives Matter, and then, people, well, if you believe in Black Lives Matter, but you don't stand for, or no, you believe in the police lives matter, but you don't believe in the Black Lives Matter, it's like, what about just all lives? Like, we're all humans, right?
Well, my personal opinion.
That's racist.
Yes.
Racist,
Yeah, that's-
You can't say that. It's
My-
racist.
To be candid,
Yeah,
my,
another audience member said that was racist to say all that. He was joking.
No, of course.
I would say on that topic, no lives matter. I take Cthulhu 2016 as my oppressor.
So what about the breastfeeding? So, no, honestly, I don't think there should be a breastfeeding week. It just should be instilled from the beginning. It's not.
It's just like it's one of those topics I don't really think deserves. To be candid, I don't think it really deserves any attention. This is what mammals do. Like, who the fuck cares?
Well, I think it's
Sex is carnivore. Like, it's in your face all the time.
Yeah, it has to be government saying. Let them say it's okay first.
Fair enough.
Anyway,
Just wanted to add.
I was trying to add one little tidbit to the last story. I was riding my bicycle in Detroit, had my boat down there, went for a bike ride, and I happened to see the Threat Management Center out of the blue, didn't even know where it was. I walk in there, I ask for Dale. I walk into Dale, and Dale's like, you can't believe this, you gotta see this. And he's watching our show that we did with him for the first time, like 2 or 3 months later. He just, out of the blue, I happened to walk in there while he was watching the show. With us interviewing him, I was just like, that was a trip. So that's all.
Yeah, and
Fuck you,
we
Dave.
we interviewed Dale Brown too, and yeah, like there were probably like I pretty much choose a topic like per segment. I think we got through like 1.5.
Yeah,
And then a couple came out of the woodwork. So yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, he's got a lot of great things to say.
I saw him on Jeff Berwick's show. I have no idea how he got it down to an hour.
Berwick?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
The guy that steals money?
Oh.
Well, that's what I've heard. That's all going on.
So no, she brought up an interesting topic though. Is the I don't know if I want to go there. No, okay, fine.
Are you scared?
Why? Yeah, never stops before. No, but why is it? I mean, we've already brought this up 2 episodes ago, but this issue with the race has to be brought into issues that have nothing to do with race.
Exactly.
And I brought it up with the Black Lives Matter, and she brought it up with the why do you need a black breastfeeding month or week or whatever when you can have, hey, this is the beauty of us having to pass off microphones. I can stop you from interrupting me. This is
Are you
awesome.
saying black breasts don't matter?
They matter, yes. However, we don't have to separate them from all other breasts and say that they matter, and then also these breasts over here matter, and then the Irish breasts matter,
but
and
white
then the breasts from
privilege,
India
no?
matter, and the breasts from China matter. Why not just breastfeeding matters because it's healthy for children, no matter what race, color, creed, national origin you are. Why do we have to introduce race into a non-race topic?
Because I'm important, Joe, and my race distinguishes me.
Shut up, Danny.
Well, no, it's and I heard you say it. Yeah, it is. There's a lot of, and I actually saw there was a course offered at some university, and it was like something like "end whites" or like something derisive like that. And obviously I don't judge people based off of any I don't know, biological trait or anything. I judge you for other things, Dan.
I think it's part of the,
not for what you look like. But but yeah, it's I judge people off of their actions rather than.
But it's part of the whole media, government, divide and conquer, social justice warrior, where, you know, it's about race, it's not about cops being an inherently evil organization,
That
drug
is
war
true,
being
yeah.
inherently evil. Yes, it is,
Yeah,
black
the
people
drug war
are
is
much
the drug war is more
more
racist
affected
than
by
any
the
of-
drug war. And, you know, there's a lot of racism involved in this thing, but it's a symptom of the problem as opposed to the problem in particular. They're taking the symptom and making it the problem.
Yeah, they aren't striking the rib by any stretch of the imagination. As I mentioned earlier, you don't hear Black Lives Matter talk about abolishing the police. There was one lady on Fox News, and it was really nice to see, but she should have shut her mouth after she said that statement, because then she made concessions and things. But yeah, she's like, abolish the police, and I was like, I'm right with you. And then she kept talking, and I was like, no. But and I don't know if she's a member of Black Lives Matter or not, but you don't hear them talking about the privatizing of the police. You don't.
I think we
hear-
should toast to abolishing the police.
I'm fine, yeah, for sure. Yeah, you don't hear when it comes to these SJW issues, you don't hear talk for abolition. You hear their arguments essentially strengthen the state or whatever institution of the state that they have an issue with. We did a broadcast. I think we were there for that one, but it was on Black Lives Matter. It was the first time I went through their 10-point manifesto because I actually found what they actually want to do, and I agree with 3 of the points on that. But the 3 points they were calling for abolition or something. The rest of it was like, well, we need to make cops wear body cameras. And we found an article where some state, the governor signed a bill that said that. Yeah, that body cameras aren't available there, public access or available to the public. So
And we have videos of cops murdering people, and then they investigate themselves and find that they did no wrong.
Actually, that brings up kind of a side point. If you guys are familiar with Cheryl Yurkowski, she's like Anarcho Babe on Facebook.
Maybe we should try to get her on the show via Skype or something.
We could try. In any case, if you want, the latest update is that the cops did investigate themselves, and guess what they found out? There's nothing wrong.
They found worse. Not only did the cops find that they did no wrongdoing, the wrongdoing that the cops did, they pinned on her ex-boyfriend or husband.
Yes, ex-fiance.
Ex-fiance.
Yep.
Because she was full of bruises, and they pinned the bruises that were on her body from the cops on the ex-fiance.
Nothing wrong with that.
So I guess the moral of the story is in the talk of reformism, discuss abolition.
Yeah, CJ was on stage earlier talking about words, and I kind of like this word. I'm an abolitionist. I don't think it's it's not like capitalism.
It's not a word that's used very frequently.
And it's not a word like capitalism that's really tainted. I think we can use this word abolitionist. You could tell people, like if somebody starts asking you about your politics, you say, well, I'm an abolitionist. Immediately, that's going to make them curious. Like, what does that mean?
Or they get confused and think you're like, because abolitionist was a slavery term. And I do think they can be reappropriated, such as like just as voluntarism was from the early 1900s.
Well, let me finish what I was getting about that. It is a slavery term, and that's exactly how we're applying it. So you say, well, I'm an abolitionist, and they're going to be curious because they think slavery has ended. So you can educate them on the slavery that we all live under. And I read somewhere, and I cannot find this stat anywhere. So if anybody listening out there in YouTube land or the audience here can help me out, I am looking for this stat. And the stat is that 40% of all of the slaves' work was taken by the slave owner, and the other 60% the slaves were working for themselves to feed themselves and clothe themselves. I can't find it. I want to have documentation behind this stat because I think it's a very powerful stat because it is almost exactly the same as the proportion that is taken from us. I think we're at 38% in the United States, but in Europe, if you're listening in Europe, we do have some audience members around the globe. There are places in Europe where the government takes more from their slaves than the chattel slave owners in the United States took from their slaves. And I would really like to get some firm documentation on this. I've seen it before, I can't find it.
I think it's, I thought it was more like 60 or 70% when you figure all the hidden taxes into it. And, not to dismiss chattel slavery as having its own unique evil properties, but, a lot of the slaves in a purely physical sense were treated better back during slavery than they are today. Than we, like in South Carolina, I went to the museum in Charleston, and there's 1,000 freed slaves during the Civil War. At the start of the Civil War, and they had these badges where the skilled tradesmen could go out and work, and they could keep 50% or a certain percentage of their earnings for themselves. So in a way, it was like a tax. But in many
they could go out and work for other people, right?
But yeah,
like they could go get jobs.
Yeah, but I like to paraphrase George Bush, the 1,000 Points of Light. George Bush.
The first George Bush.
That it's just he wanted to have a kinder, gentler form of government, and I think what we have today is a kinder and gentler form of slavery. They take the most productive slaves and take the most from them, and they have to take care of themselves mostly. So.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And you look at the impact that government regulation, the various entry that, and I've actually experienced this myself, to be honest, and I'll go into this a little bit, but the barriers to entry and just the barriers to actually starting your own business. I mentioned that my dad was starting a distillery, and I've been lucky enough, or unlucky enough, depending on your perspective, to actually like go through this process with him. And obviously it's alcohol, it's not something like soap or whatever it is. And the amount of like the amount of corporations he's had to set up, like we went with a lawyer. We had to go with the friggin' mayor of the town, which that was odd for an anarchist to do. But I consider it grammar as part of the Trivium method. But just the amount of work and time and money that it costs. And this is why, like, government is
protection.
Government is racist. The impositions they place upon, whether it's just people of lower income that are trying to find jobs, or whether it's people that are trying to start businesses, it completely cuts them out. Like, it essentially gives them no possible way to do it legally. And obviously, I don't like the legal part, but this just shows you that. That they're doing a lot more harm than they are good. And I mean, yeah, Henry Hassel discussed that very succinctly in Economics 1 lesson. So,
Well, if I was offering you $5 to put all these chairs away, we would probably be breaking some laws. You know, you can't really do anything. You can't go paint somebody's house, clean their house, mow their lawn, unless you have the proper licenses and pay taxes. So
yeah, not just entrepreneurs, but even like one of my neighbors who babysits kids. Like, there's the barriers to entry for that, how much you have to go through, and how often the state has to come in and make sure you're approved. It's definitely insane. And yeah, like even my neighbor is operating in probably the gray market, I would imagine at this point.
Well, small businesses, I believe, are operating in the gray area because it's so difficult to dot your T's and cross your I's that everybody kind of, the people that cheat make a lot more money than the people that don't. It's just the way it works. All the corporations set it up so, you know, to protect you, but it really screws
I wouldn't say
other
the
people from doing
corporations
anything.
set it up. What they do is they use the fact that they have market advantage to manipulate the state into saying, hey, let's create barriers of entry or frustration for competitors.
They co-opt the state. I don't know.
Yeah.
Market advantage, not market advantage. They pay the congressmen and
what
the
if-
corporations write all the laws, and all these laws
So,
that
yeah,
are
no,
supposedly to protect us are really to prop up the corporations. You know, from the
Corporations are illegal
laws.
fictions created by the state. So now, if they are, they're created by the state. A fictional entity created by a fictional entity. It's kind of funny, right?
I mean, you could have something very similar to corporations in a free society, but it would be okay then.
Yeah, well, all I was just trying to say is that corporations, like a lot of people complain about Walmart. And Walmart started off as like a really small business, and then it grew into this monolithic corporation where there's like one every 2 miles. So, the way I look at it is, Walmart did something very efficiently within the market, if you can call it a market or a free market, whatever
The
you want.
market that was available to them.
Yes,
They-
at the
they-
time.
They used a lot of market activity within the somewhat fascist legal system that they were working with.
So, they eventually gained popularity and money, and then they said, okay, now we can lobby Congress, now we can have laws that favor us.
So what laws favor Walmart? 'Cause from what I see, because I used to work for one, I'm just to say this. When Walmart tries to go into a town, the government is so often heavily against them building a store, to the point where they will not alter the zoning, the central plan to allow a Walmart. I mean, this just happened 2 years ago. I used to work, our office was located in a school slash church. We were in the school part, but there was a church and a school. They went out of business. Our office was in some of the classrooms, and the reason we occupied the school is because we have a school that's a part of what we do, but it's completely separate. We have two different businesses. One is a school and one is a real estate business. So we made a real estate office in a school and used the school classrooms for our school for autistic children. But so we were in there, and it was time for us to go because we're barely using this building, and it was sold. And it was sold to a developer that built strip centers and things for retail. But it was Walmart that wanted to buy this facility facility. They were the highest bidder. And they wanted to sell it to Walmart, but Walmart was not allowed to build in this location because the central planners wouldn't allow them to do it. And this is the story over and over and over again with Walmart. They will sometimes take a decade in order to build a building somewhere because they are fighting the local government, the central planners, to build the store. So I don't know, I feel like the government is against Walmart.
No, I think that's just a whole part of the corporations controlling the government. Because who's against Walmart? The small businesses or the businesses, the local businesses that know they're going to be negatively affected by Walmart, which is a cheap retailer, and that's who is getting the local government to not do it. So it's still the
And
corporations.
that's the reason why the local government is against Walmart, is because all of the businesses that are already there, all of their constituents, all of their powerful constituents in the local place is lobbying these small local government people to be against Walmart. And I really feel like Walmart has fought an uphill battle to build their thing, and all of these people are saying, you know, Walmart is primarily, I mean, there's probably some kind of fascism that they use.
Well, obviously,
I mean,
yeah.
every government
Child
does.
labor and-
I mean, I'm not saying that they don't, I mean, you can't operate in a fascist system without being a fascist, but the idea that Walmart is somehow special, you know what makes Walmart special? They're the
Tell us,
biggest.
Joe.
They're the biggest. No, they're the biggest. They've been the most successful at producing economies of scale in a way that draws in the most people. And most of the criticisms that people have of Walmart, you can apply to every other retailer. Retail just sucks. It really does. I mean, unless you work for Costco, they're like some shining example that everybody pulls up. Costco pays people. And the thing is they don't pay people as much as all the people who hold them up as a shining example think that they do. But they do pay more than most people. And Walmart, I don't know, the Walmart thing is a kind of even though I hated working for them. I worked for them for 2 years and I hated it. But I still defend, even though I hated working for them, I defend Walmart. And for the reason I do this is because I defend the idea of business in the process. And I also point out the hypocrisy behind people who slam Walmart, who pays more than the mom and pop shops that go out of business when they come in, and provide more opportunities for people to move up. Like, even though I hated working for Walmart, they do have a career path for people.
Oh, yeah.
Where if you work for a mom and pop shop, you're just stuck right there. You know, the owner is going to be the owner, and you're going to be their underling, and that's where you are forever. There is no career path from being in a mom and pop shop. Where that's not true with Walmart. If you want it, that's the other thing. I would approach people because I was an assistant store manager of a Walmart, and I would find shining examples of good employees who had good work ethic and were doing excellent work, and I would say, you should apply for the program. You would be an excellent assistant store manager. You should get in the assistant manager, you should get in this training program. And they would say no. The reason they would say no is because they didn't want to work the hours that I worked, which were fucked up. And I appreciate that, but that's something that you don't hear any other place.
Yeah, and I guess just what I want to say is it's obviously, and it's kind of, unfortunately, it's kind of divisive. I mean, I watched a video that Jeffrey Tucker put out when he got his tires changed or something at like the Walmart automotive section, and he like took a video of the employee, and he was like, I love Walmart. He loves McDonald's too, but those aren't emblematic of capitalism or the free market in any stretch of the imagination. It's obviously extremely fascistic, and obviously Walmart and other corporations that are that large do benefit from further regulation, whether it be minimum wage laws because they can afford them and the mom and pop shops can't, or whether it's anything else. And to kind of go off of what you said, Joe, I don't think it's necessarily the government. I think the governments would greatly benefit from a Walmart going up. They just get so much pushback from the local
corporations.
from not local. They might be corporations. I'm
Yeah,
just
they
saying
could
from
be,
locals.
yeah. All the local businesses.
Constituents.
All the local constituents pressure the local governments.
The real community.
No, not the community. The community loves Walmart, and the evidence is the money that they pour into it.
That's convenient.
It's a very
It's the local businesses that don't
Yeah,
like
it's
it.
a very small constituency that
But I mean, aren't
that tries
the
to push
local
Walmart
businesses
out.
run by the community?
No, the local
It's a local
constituent.
business.
No, because the community, you have all the
Do
individual.
you run that gas station over there?
Yeah, you don't run that gas station. The gas station is afraid of the Walmart gas station coming in. Might throw
Yeah.
money in the
What about-
campaign of the people who are against Walmart in order to keep the Walmart out. They'll be
Is
like,
that what
look,
you mean, is it mom and pop?
is going to pay, donate money to the campaign of the candidate that's going to be against Walmart. This is
Pretty
this is
dumbass.
what Walmart is up against, and they've been pushed out of many communities. I think the success that they've had is in spite of the government, more so than it is because of the government. And people who talk about the subsidies and whatnot, there is nothing special about like the weight, like Meijer, Kroger, Safeway. It doesn't matter. It's retail. It sucks to work in retail unless you work for Costco. There's no difference.
Excuse me, hold on.
I think that,
He's got a question.
Go ahead.
We've got an audience member with a question, and then we're going to wrap up the show after this question, I think.
I just want to throw in there, you mentioned the restrictions that you have opening the business. Is there anything that you come across that is discouraging while operating? I don't know if you've gotten to that point or not. I kind of, I'm the mom and pop. I got the mom and pop shop, and I see it. Basically, the government gets from me the license to begin with, and then based on my annual revenue, I pay them more there. And being automotive, me keeping these vehicles on the street increases their revenue even further still, gas taxes and registration, things like that.
Yeah, I guess things have been. It's obviously been discouraging for me. Luckily it's my father that's opening a business. I don't have to front the capital. But yeah, we've had many conversations. He's not an anarchist. He's probably more, I guess, your typical minarchist, which I guess is, it's better of the evils. But
I don't want any of it. I just have to.
yeah, it's obviously been, yeah, we've had conversations and we both bitched about it, and yeah, it sucks, but yeah, he's going to do it legally. So I guess, yeah, it has been discouraging for both of us, but the process is still continuing. But yeah, I guess the major barrier, the one that's the most frustrating is, so you've got to get your federal liquor licenses and things, and you got to get what's the word? You have to get bonded, so they know you're going to pay the federal taxes. Then you have to go through the process in the state that you live in, and it's just such a long process. Like he started this probably 2 years ago, and he obviously still has a full-time job and such, but he's not planning on even starting to, I guess, legally distill liquor until I don't know, probably a year from now. So it takes such a long time to get this stuff in motion.
Well, just think about the time value of money that's associated with that.
That's something I brought up with him. I told him, I was like, well, what if just imagine if the government wasn't involved in alcohol or or marijuana or anything. Like, just imagine how cheap it would really be. Imagine how, like, you could, I don't know, like $5 for a fifth of liquor, or I don't know, like $5 for a gram of weed, like whatever it is. Like, if the government was not involved in the instance with marijuana, if they didn't create a black market, just imagine how cheap you could actually get all of this stuff without all of the inputs that go into cutting into your profit margin.
hence the corollary, what's that word I'm looking for?
Corollary?
Yeah, of the reason corporations want all these laws is to make it so difficult so they can charge so much money, because it's so difficult for you to go out in your backyard and make some gin. And so anyway, I would say, you can finish, but in conclusion,
I can finish while you do conclude.
in conclusion, fascism sucks. Fascism sucks, and that's what we live under is
We could
fascism.
toast to fascism sucking.
Fascism sucks.
God damn it.
I'll just act like
But Mike, one thing, I'm gonna leave it
We
at
need that for
this.
the next episode.
Yeah, we are in 2 weeks, or 3 weeks, 4 months. I don't know.
Coming on, or no?
No. Okay, so, last thing, Mike, sorry. The market determines, it determines the price, at the end of the day. It always will. And if you
Perversion of the
sell,
market.
if you sell anything above what the market wants, you're not gonna sell anything. So,
The problem is that when the government controls the market through laws and prevents other players from entering the market that would do it for cheaper and cost the players that are in it millions of dollars to make a bottle of gin or whatever, it costs you I'll bet it costs him $400,000 before he makes a bottle of liquor.
Yeah, the government is putting its elephant-sized leg on the scale to chip it and alter the market.
Definitely.
Any final words to wrap up the show from anyone?
Shane, I think you should finish it off with the.
I have one
like an advertisement.
Final word before Shane is, years ago my friend said, it costs 5 cents to make a CD. Why do they charge like $15 for it? Because they can. But it was also because the government and, IP laws or, intellectual property laws.
They have to pay lawyers a lot of money.
Even though it cost 5 cents to make that CD, it was all the IP laws. But go ahead, wrap it up, Shane.
Yeah. So thank you guys all for obviously for watching or listening, whatever way you're doing that. My name's Shane. I run Liberty Under Attack Radio. We talk about a lot of stuff similar to what we've discussed
He
tonight.
said Liberty Under Attack Radio.
Yeah, libertyunderattack.com. You can find all of the archives
Did
there.
you say Liberty Under Attack Radio? Just
I
make it
That
fun,
is
Joe.
correct.
I just said it more clear because he said it really fast, and I wasn't sure everybody heard it.
What's it called?
Liberty Under Attack Radio.
LibertyUnderAttack.com. Is that right?
That is correct. Yes. And tonight, actually, I don't know what time it is now. It's probably like 4 or something like that. We'll be live at 8 tonight from up there near the Spontaneous Order tent. We've got people to interview, but if you want to come on and talk, we'd certainly love to have you. I need to stay at least a little bit sober because I don't know. I'm kind of getting deterred. I might sleep in my car tonight. But that would make for an interesting. I don't know. Whatever. But yeah, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
All right, let's bring on Katie with the ukulele.
The what?
The ukulele.
Oh, I'm not doing the other this time. All right.
Katie just rode by. I didn't see her ukulele on her bicycle.
Laissez-faire.
Laissez-faire. Fair enough.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.